Hi everyone, today we are going to show you how to install the Cockpit admin tool on CentOS7. So we already have a CentOS7 VM running on Oracle VirtualBox, and what I have done is I've logged into the CentOS7 VM remotely via Putty, and I have a SSH session open, as you can see right in front of you. And to do this, I've actually logged in as root. So what we're going to do is just run a command to install Cockpit. So it's yum space install space Cockpit, then -y, then we hit return. And we're just waiting for that. We're just waiting for that command to run. Okay, so the command's now running. So it's downloading the various components needed to run Cockpit. So we're just waiting for it to download those components. Okay, so Cockpit is now installed, so we just need to enable it. So we type in the following command, so systemctl space enable cockpit.socket. Then we start it, so systemctl space start cockpit.socket. Now what we need to do is we need to enable a firewall rule so that we can log into the Cockpit interface from our host OS. So what I'm going to do is run a command which is firewall-cmd, then list to see what's already configured on the local firewall. Okay, so that's basically the default configuration, and it only allows in the DHCP client and SSH and nothing else. So what we need to do is add a firewall entry to allow Cockpit in. So it's firewall-cmd space add space add service equals Cockpit in double quotes. Okay, now I'm going to list the firewall configuration. Okay, so now we can see Cockpit has been added, but the configuration is not persistent. So if I was to reboot this VM, we will lose that configuration we just added. So I need to make that persistent as follows. So it's firewall-cmd runtime to, I think it's permanent, so let's try that. Sorry, there's a typo, so let's try that again. My apologies. Okay, so we made that configuration persistent, so let's double check. Okay, now we're going to reload the firewall configuration just to make sure the changes have been applied. So it's firewall-cmd space -- reload. Then we're going to check the configuration again. Yep, it's there. Okay, so Cockpit will listen on, I believe, TCP port 9090. So I'm just going to check that by running the command netstat -apn, and then we're going to search for any lines that begin with TCP. So I'm just going to use grep to search for lines that begin with TCP. And yes, here we can see. Okay, so here we can see Cockpit's listening on 1990. So, okay, so the IP address of this VM is 192.168.0.33. So we're going to paste that into a web browser, then put ports 1990 on the end of that. So we're going to do that as follows. Okay, and because we're using SSL to access the interface, it's using the cell-side SSL certificate. So you're going to be presented with a warning. So all you need to do is click on Advanced and click on Accept the risk and continue. And now you can log into the cockpit interface for your Linux system. So I'm going to log in as root. And now you can see we're now logged into Cockpit. So Cockpit is a really good UI that allows you to administrate your CentOS7 VM using this interface, and it's a lot easier for people that are starting to use Linux to manage the system using this interface. So basically, we've got a few options on the left hand side. So one is system, where you can see how your CPU is performing, how your memory is doing, disk I/O, network traffic. You'll see a few settings here and options here. You can restart your VM from here should you wish to do so. You can also take a look at logs. Basically, the VM writes various bits of information from various processes to log files, and this is an easy place to see that information. You can look at networking here, and you can also use this to set up firewall rules as well. So for example, if I go to firewalls here, go to the active rules, you can see basically what we're allowing in to this virtual machine, including Cockpit, what we added earlier in the video. Okay, below that there's accounts, so you can basically create user accounts here. You can go to services. This basically shows which processes are running and what have been enabled for auto startup. You can also create a diagnostic report should you wish to do so. Okay, you can take a kernel dump as well. You can also configure something called SE Linux or Security Enhanced Linux. And finally, you can also open the terminal to the Linux server as well, as follows. So here you go. Okay, Cockpit will also allow you to install optional components such as storage. So you can add a storage component to Cockpit, so that you could manage, you can manage disks and logical volumes using this interface as well. So what I would do is I'll create another video showing the process of installing the storage component for Cockpit and how to use it. And I'll upload that in the future. If you've got to the end of this video, thank you very much for your time. If you like this video, please click on like. Also, please subscribe to this channel should you wish to see further videos from myself. And should you wish to be notified when I upload further videos, just click on the notification bell. And again, thank you very much for your time.